Working here is different to working anywhere else in the world. I feel like guilty always. Lots of things that I would go back and maybe do differently. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. Sometimes I've overstretched myself. I hate saying no. If a client was asking for something, I'd be like, yeah, sure, no problem, ping it over, I'll get that done. And you can't say yes to everything. It's impossible. That you have to set boundaries.
And I think that's a really difficult skill as well.
Well, yeah, I Googled how to say no. I would openly admit that I was really lazy, actually. Probably just pranced around the office, didn't do much. Whereas now, when you become a mum, you learn how to do everything with one hand.
What are some modern parenting hacks that made your life easier and enjoyable, if any?
Have you got any for me? I'm waiting for it to get easier.
How has your perspective on life and work changed since becoming a mother?
A lot. A lot.
Welcome to Sheconomy, the podcast dedicated to celebrating the rising influence of women in today's economy. I'm your host, Sophia, and I'm thrilled to introduce Yasmin Carey, a Dubai-based blogger, writer, marketing business owner, and mum of 3 boys. Yasmin, how do you manage everything?
I don't. I think, it just kind of slots in and I prioritise. My kids are my main priority, always. And I'm really transparent with clients about that. So all of my clients fully understand, drop-offs, pickups, those hours are blocked out. Managing everything else, I don't know, something always feels like it has to give.
Yeah. No, it sounds like you're doing an amazing job of balancing it all. So talking a little bit about kind of leadership and brand. So how important is brand building when trying to make a name for yourself as a budding female entrepreneur?
So if we're talking about personal brand for myself, I think it's really important because especially with my business, I'm not a big company, I'm not a well-known company, I'm not a global brand, it's essentially me. So when clients come to me and I send a pitch deck, for example, and I go meet them for a coffee, it's me that they're buying into. So I feel like it's really important to have that, to be approachable, to be relatable, but also be like really transparent and honest all the time.
Oh, good. And so when building that brand, what are the key steps you took in establishing your brand, and what advice would you give to someone starting from scratch?
I feel like a bit of an imposter giving advice, but I would say to just stay authentic, really. Because everybody has a unique selling point, and like you have something different to offer to somebody than what I might have. Yeah. So, I feel like putting forward your strengths really help, and everybody's got different strengths, so home in on those and really, I think, being honest, transparent and authentic, because everybody's different. So a client might be suited to you and then a different client might be suited to me. So it really depends on, would I want to work for somebody who doesn't fit with me as well? Correct, so it's a mutual fit. Oh, sorry, I touched the mic. It's a mutual fit. So it's like a jigsaw puzzle. So I'm one piece and a client is another. And I feel like within the industry that I work in, which is like marketing, PR, events, that sort of thing, media, everything is through network and connections. So if you had one bad experience with somebody, or I met somebody and I was like, I didn't get a great impression, would I then recommend that person to somebody else? Or, would I say, I had a great experience with this person and, you should contact them for work and that they'd be great for the X, Y and Z? Probably not. So I think you're always your own PR. So how you treat people, how you interact with people, it all everything, it all gels together, and it's all part of you and your personal brand.
No, amazing. And I have to agree with that as well. Now, balancing ambition and well-being, how do you balance your ambitious goals with the need for personal well-being and self-care?
I don't. I'm really bad at balancing, actually. I feel like I don't go to the gym, I don't do like skincare, I get my nails done and that's about it. And that happens in the evening once the kids are in bed. So It's not like I go to a salon at 10 o'clock in the morning and relax and enjoy myself. Like someone comes to the house at like 8 o'clock and That's probably the most I do. And even my hairdresser, she comes to the house. So
that's your balance.
Don't balance.
Then. So, well, in a way, because you kind of do what you need to do, and then you have the time. But I
prioritise what I know. So, like I said before, like main priority children. School drop-offs, pick-up. So I have like a big allotted amount of time in the mornings to focus on work and clients. And then in the afternoons, they're in the house. I'm still working. I'm like dipping in and out, but not like long focused projects. That happens after they've gone to bed usually, or the next day when I've got the time in the morning.
Sure.
So in terms of like time for me, I feel like I don't really have it, and I don't know if that is possibly something that I need to change. Really, like when you don't realise until someone actually asks you. So probably like I do need to fit a bit of self-care in, but then I feel guilty because if I did it on the weekend, should I be taking the kids to a pool or like out on a day out, or I feel like guilty always. So maybe I do need to do some more self-care.
True. Okay. And how does living in Dubai influence your leadership style and approach to entrepreneurship?
So it's really different here. Working here is different to working anywhere else in the world. I feel like you have to be really resilient, really resilient. Like I get told no all the time. I got told no a lot before. I applied for jobs with people that now want to work with me, and I politely decline because I've done it on my own. I don't need to work for someone else now. But at that point, they were like, nothing's going to fit your lifestyle. Nothing's going to fit your flexibility. Maybe not right now. Now's not the right time for you. And I was like, okay, no problem. And then I sat down with my husband and I was like, I want to do something. I'm going to try and do it on my own. And that's where it started. But like working in Dubai, I feel like there's so many opportunities here. I can sit in a cafe and network just from sitting somewhere and working, because I feel like the lifestyle and the working lifestyle here is really, really different. And network speaks volumes over what's on your CV and your qualifications.
It is all about who you know.
Essentially.
Of course, you need to know what you're talking about, but it is literally who you know rather than what you know. You
need to be good at what you do, and that's where it comes back to like your brand PR as well. So if you have a good experience with somebody, they're going to refer you on. So I don't have a website. I run off a Gmail account. I have a business. All my business is licensed. It's all legit, but I don't have a website. I don't have anything like that. I don't pitch for clients. Everyone that I have is referred to me. So I get people approaching me. I have a wait list at the moment, which is insane to say, because when I started I had one client, and now I have a wait list. And it's because I don't want to be at full. I don't want to be like at capacity where I can't get my nails done and I can't, pick my kids up. So for me, time management is really key, but it's all about, I feel like the network and your impression and how you treat people is really, really important. Like I treat everybody the same. Whether you're cleaning the floor, you're serving the coffee, or you're running the business, I will treat everybody the same. And I think that's so important. I've seen it time and time again where I've been at meetings with people and they've treated and spoke to people horrendously. And I remember that. And I remember that about that person, and I just think, I don't know if I would go with that person for X, Y, and Z over somebody that's actually kind and fair to everybody.
No, that's a fair point. So looking at any kind of particular points where there's been a significant failure in your career, what have you learned from that, and what's made you better?
Lots, actually. Lots of things that I would go back and maybe do differently, because I feel like sometimes I've overstretched myself. So I hate saying no. I hated saying no before. So if a client was asking for something, I'd be like, yeah, sure, no problem, ping it over, I'll get that done. And I found out that I realised that I was saying yes to everything, and you can't say yes to everything. It's impossible. That you have to set boundaries. It's okay to say no, politely decline, or just say like, I can't fit this in right now, but I know somebody that can help you with that, or let's schedule this for next month instead. I don't have to say yes to everything. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned.
Yeah. And I think that's a really difficult skill as well. I'm guilty of it as well. But I think as you kind of emphasize that and think about it, then you become better and better at it, and kind of avoid saying yes to everything, because otherwise it's a...
Well, yeah, I Googled how to say no before I actually...
Oh, really?
You know, like how to say no nicely, how to say no, you know, without excuses. And there are lots of ways, and it's difficult because I find it really hard. I can't say no to my own kids, let alone anyone else, you know? They're like, can I have an ice cream? I'm like, yes, okay, 4 a.m, have an ice cream.
Wow.
But yeah, it's difficult. I think it's really difficult. And you're scared. I was scared to break relationships because I was saying no. Do they always want me to say yes? That was in the back of my mind all the time.
Yeah.
But actually, what I found is that by saying no and setting those boundaries, there's a new level of respect.
Absolutely.
And there's a new level of like professionalism that comes with that, because they obviously know that not everybody they don't say yes to everyone.
True.
So yeah, and I feel like that it works both ways.
So looking a little bit at your lifestyle, how do you manage to incorporate self-care into your busy schedule? Any specific routine or practices?
So we touched on this earlier, and I don't really, in terms of like physical self-care, I don't really indulge too much in that. I prioritise other things, but in terms of like mental and emotional well-being, I really do. Like, I take time. I feel very oversensitized, so my days are really busy. They're really loud. They're often, especially if it's events, it's very overwhelming because you're often the point of contact for a lot of people. So you're running an event, people are coming over to me talking, they want a conversation, they want to catch up for a coffee. There's a lot going on. And when I leave, I'm kind of like, you know, I have to take a step back. I need to breathe. Sometimes just to decompress and sit in the car. You know, when you pull up to a house, and you sit in your car. Do you do this? I feel like all women do this.
Sometimes I do,
Just sit in your car.
Sit there for a second,
Nothing on the radio.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting. I might just scroll, or I'm just sitting.
Yeah.
My husband's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
just need a
I'm
few
decompressing.
moments.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
I call it like decompressing after the day.
Yeah.
Just to like take a little step back. And sometimes I do actually like. I offload a lot, like just on my own, and I find like after an emotional day or an emotional week, often with the kids, my middle son is on the spectrum, so there's it's a different parenting journey completely. So there was a point in time last year where this time last year he wasn't talking at all. He had like not one single word. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. He wasn't able to talk or anything, and I went through. Sorry.
It's okay. It's very there.
Sorry, I've promised myself I wouldn't cry as well.
That's all right.
Sorry, thanks. Thank you. It's all right, one's fine, thanks. Sorry, I got emotional there. So there was a point in time where I was really lost. I didn't know where to send him to school, therapies, all of these things. And I'm really open and transparent about this on my socials as well. Like, I talk about it a lot. And there was a point where I just did not know what to do, where to go. It was just a really, really tough journey.
Yeah.
And I found like when we found somewhere for him, everything just fit into place. But there would be days where I would just feel so overwhelmed, and I would sit in the car and I would just cry on my own. And it was just really tough.
Yeah.
But I feel like that emotional release was like my way of kind of like regulating myself. And I don't want to cry in front of people, but you know, like
I think it's important to talk about these things because one, it's your journey, but two, there could be other people in very similar positions.
Well, by sharing this on socials, I've had so many parents come to me and say, you know, I think we're about to start a similar journey, or we've come out the other end and we are, you know, my son is like in his 20s and independently living, and, you know, he's thriving, and he's quirky, but like he's so happy. And like for me, that gives me hope. And I feel like by sharing Ellis's journey, I'm doing the same. Like Ellis is speaking now, and I never thought that would happen.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So you mentioned on Instagram that you like to prioritise comfort over trends. What are your go-to fashion tips for work mums who want to stay stylish yet comfortable?
I looked at your podcast and I was like, looking when you invited me, I was so excited. And I said to my husband, oh my God, what am I going to wear? What am I going to wear? Like, I've got blazers and things and like suits. And I was like, I don't wear that ever really. And I hate wearing heels and I just like to be comfortable. My job is really active sometimes. So I'll be down on the floor, like plugging in adapters and things. Like, it can vary. Every day is different. And I'm running around after the kids as well. So I feel like I don't need to wear a power suit or anything like that to bring to the table what I need to bring. A lot of the people in like media and marketing dress quite casual. It's quite a casual industry anyway. Yeah. I'm not going into like a corporate bank or anything like that. I think if that was the situation, I would have to change. I couldn't turn up like this. Definitely not. Yeah. But in the environment that I am in, this works. And I like to be comfortable as well. But when I first started, so one of my first clients was like a big global, and I pinched myself every day, like, how did I even land that? And I would go into their office and I would get I had imposter syndrome anyway, and I just had my third baby, so I was like carrying a lot of postpartum weight, and often he would come with me as well. I didn't have a nanny, but he was a couple of months old, so he used to just, at that age, you feed them, they sleep. True. It was easy. Yeah. He just used to sleep. So I'd go in and I'd be like in a smock dress, because nothing else fit me, and I'd feel so out of place. I'd go to this big company, which was a group that retailed various different brands. I can't mention them, but big brands, big retail stores, and everybody's like quite high-end fashion, like look amazing, so glamorous. And I'm like walking in with a stroller in a smock dress, I've got massive bags under my eyes. But again, I don't think that they might have looked at me and been like, what a mess. But they didn't, nobody said anything. They were so welcoming. And also, like, what I brought to the table overrode what they saw. Exactly. Do you know, like, and I think that's the most important thing. Like, I told them that I can get the job done. I showed them that I can do what I can do. So feeling comfortable in my own skin was one of the most important lessons that I've had to learn. Like, I don't wear, this is what I wear to work. Yeah. And most of the days I'm in active wear, to be honest. Yeah.
I think for working mums, things have changed as well. It depends on the industry, obviously. But there's a lot of people, like myself today, I mean, I've got like trainers on with formal, but a lot of women do that now, and it just makes things a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. And I think people do prioritise comfort over fashion trends. Of course, it depends on the industry totally, but I think people do go down the comfort route more now.
Yeah, I used to work in a very corporate environment before I had children. I come from a legal background. I used to wear a suit every day to work, trousers, dresses, blazers, heels. Why am I tottering around in heels when the guy next to me is wearing really comfortable like loafers? Like, why am I suffering with blisters when I don't need to? Yeah. Like, I feel like that gender. Did you watch the Barbie movie recently? And they said, well, why am I wearing shoes like this when my feet are like this? So I feel like that really resonated with me when I watched it, and I liked a lot of messages actually in that film.
Yeah. I went with my daughter and watched that. So yeah. Okay, so moving on, talking a little bit about your journey into blogging. And what inspired you to start to blog, and how has your journey evolved?
So I started my Instagram page when we first moved here 6 years ago, and it was really different then. So stories weren't a thing and everything. So I'd just be getting coffee and I'd put a post up like, looking for a villa, just getting a coffee, and it just kind of snowballed. And I feel like back then, not everyone was sharing everything. Whereas now everybody shares everything, or what they want to share. So it was a lot easier to like build a following and build a community. And it came from a really authentic place, and it was just a journey. So there was no sort of agenda. There was no, I want to be a blogger, or I want to do this. It was just, I'm just going to share our journey moving from the UK to Dubai and everyday experiences. And it really just snowballed. It actually kickstarted my career, my business. It has opened so many doors for us as a family, and for me personally as well. But I would say the main thing is just to, be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, it's not an advertising page. I'm not a business. I'm just me.
Mm.
Yeah.
So authenticity online then, you share candid moments with your family and your boys. Have you ever hesitated to be this open, or was it always your plan?
Yeah, I do share a lot, but there's a lot that I also don't share. I don't share a lot. I feel like online, because there's quite a lot of criticism. When you open yourself up, you open yourself up to good and bad feedback.
Yeah.
And as my kids are getting older as well, I'm very conscious that, my eldest is 8. He's like, Mummy, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to the shop, and I don't want to go. I'm like, you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. Like, I'll do like a cooking video or something. He's like, I don't want to be in it. I'm like, it's fine. Don't. Go and play. Would never force him to do anything. And I feel like as he's getting older, he's really conscious that he's online, which I'm going to have to navigate that, and I haven't quite figured that out actually, of how, I don't know if it's different with you because you've got teenage children.
Yeah. I suppose they've never really been part of my social media, to be honest. But yeah, they wouldn't. And now, as they've got older, they definitely wouldn't want to be on any of my posts.
Yeah,
but,
I'm feeling that with my eldest because he's 8 going on like 18, like hitting that preteen. He's too cool. He's covering his face. Exactly. They all do this, don't they?
Yes.
So I'm getting a lot of that now. But I feel like by sharing, especially stuff about Ellis, who's neurodivergent, I'm helping a lot of people as well. And I don't just share perfect moments. There aren't really many in my house. It's all a bit chaotic, but it's very real, Yeah. At the end of the day, the house looks like it's been robbed, but they didn't take anything. It's just been completely wrecked, and we tidy up once they've gone to bed. And that is life, and that is life of a lot of young families. When your children are really young, life is like that.
Yeah.
It's not picture perfect, and I feel like there's a lot of pressure from social media to have like perfect beige house and perfect, cream sofas and aesthetic, everything being so aesthetic, and that is not real life. Like my playroom is colourful. There's colourful toys in there, not everything is aesthetic, and that's life with children. And I wanted to make people feel that to see that just it's normal, what your house looks like now, it's normal. And not every day do I have makeup on or do my hair. There's days when my hair is like tied up in a mess, and that is life, and I've been vomited on that day, or like my kids have been up all night and we've cancelled plans and we're just having a house day. That's not, and I feel like it's really important to show people that life is just that.
And do you feel that has increased your connection with the audience or with your audience?
Yeah, a lot. I get messages all the time saying, oh my God, this is so relatable and totally relate to you, or asking like advice, or like, I'm not an expert in anything. I just want to make that perfectly clear. We take every day as it comes, especially with my middle son. But I've referred so many people to his specialist school because I didn't even know about it. And there was a point in time when I was looking for something that was suitable for him. And when I found it, I didn't share the school name because I didn't want them to be exposed in any way, good or bad. But I just put a message out saying, if anybody wants to know the school name and they want to explore it, let me know and I'll be happy to share that. And they've had so many new enrolments from my referrals because nobody talks about these things. It's not that it's taboo, but it almost feels like it is. There's like a stigma attached. And there's children, even in my son's school, that I would never know that they're having alternative therapies, or that one of Ellis's speech and language therapies, the clinic that they use, they go around to all different schools, and children may not be in a different setting, or they may not have like a learning support with them. But there's lots of children that have speech therapy. They might just have a lisp, or, and there's loads of kids that have occupational needs, but you just don't know, and it could be anywhere on that spectrum, because the spectrum is like massive. So for people to see a journey, and to see like everybody's journey is different, but to just see that like life isn't always, aesthetic and perfect and roses. It is real, and we are all dealing with really real things.
Yeah. I like that, because there's a lot of people out there that just put, things that people want to see or that's pleasing to the eye on social media. But you know, you're actually showing real life scenarios and the practical side of life and kids and everything.
It is chaotic. I think people must get a headache when they like watch my stories. So it's just a bit like, you know, crazy, but that is life of young children.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you mentioned criticism a little bit earlier on. Now, how do you handle negativity or criticism on your social media platforms?
With a smile. Always. I'm just kill them with kindness. I don't really want to get involved with back and forth arguing. It's not a place, it's so negative. It's not a place where I want to be. It's not a lane where I want to travel down. I'm just like, thank you and have a lovely day. And I feel like just by saying that, it annoys them more than reacting.
Absolutely.
So I really tried. 10 years ago, if you would have asked me that question, it would have been a different answer.
Yeah.
But now I've evolved as a person to not react.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that is the best way, to be honest. Yeah, absolutely. So moving on to a little bit of personal insights. How has your perspective on life and work changed since becoming a mother?
A lot. Before having kids, I'd openly admit that I was really lazy, actually. So I feel sorry for the people that used to work with me before, because probably just pranced around the office, didn't do much, you know. Whereas now, when you become a mum, you learn how to do everything with one hand. You know, those early years, you're holding baby. How much do we do with one hand? And then as your hands become more free, and your time becomes a little bit more, the amount of things that I get done in a limited amount of time with both my hands and my focus is crazy compared to how little I used to do before, when like I had time on my side. So I feel like it's taught me to be motivated, to prioritise, and to also utilise my skill set a lot. Like I can do so much in the space of a couple of hours, which would probably used to take me a whole day before.
Yeah. I think it's the experiences that you go through, and then the pressure of doing things in a limited time. So when you've got some time, you're a little bit more, or you're a lot more efficient.
Definitely. Like my work week is managed like minute by minute, you know. And I put in like breaks and all those things as well. But it's like I don't have that luxury to be like, oh, I can overrun this meeting, but I've got to go and pick my kids up. So, you know, it's a hard stop at 12:30. So, and then I'm off. So we've got like an hour and we need to smash this meeting. We need to come up with an agenda and we need to, you know, really, really crack on with this proposal, and then we're done. And then we'll go off and work, you know?
Yeah. So socially, how do you find and build a social network in Dubai as an expat entrepreneur?
I found this really hard, actually. In terms of like personal friendships and then like business network, they're really different. And both those sets of friends are different. And I feel, this might be really controversial, but working with women is really different to working with men. So what I found over the years is that women are very supportive of each other, which I love. Especially in this region, there's lots of women out here that will like lift you up and build you up. But I feel like the moment that you level up and you then become, you know, like you're not the underdog anymore, the level of support changes. And I've experienced that personally, not in any nasty way, but just in terms of like they take a step back and maybe not propose as many opportunities or shout your name in a room as much as what they would, because you're no longer the underdog. And I don't know if you've experienced anything like that before.
I think I understand where you're coming from, actually. Yes. Yeah. I do.
It's not that anybody's being unkind or mean. It's just the mindset has changed because, you've leveled up now, you know? And it's not like, it's kind of like a little, okay, so she's not the underdog anymore. Maybe she's the competition, or like your competitors now. You're not, you know?
That's interesting. Very interesting.
That's something that I've experienced. But in terms of like network here, it's really important. It's really key. And there's a lot of like flowery language between women, you know, like, hey babe, hey hun, how are the kids? Let's grab a coffee. And then, but I have the same conversation with a man in the same industry, and it's like, hey, quick one, X, Y, and Z, let me know.
To the point.
You know, whereas that conversation took maybe 3 messages total to conclude on something, whereas with another female in the industry, it's a day's worth of WhatsApp.
Take a bit of time.
Voice notes and all sorts of things, going on. And I just sometimes, and it's nice to connect and it's nice to talk to people. But what I have to realise as well is sometimes we're not all friends. We're acquaintances and we can be friendly with each other, but we're not best friends. Like, I'm not going to call you up and just, we'll go for a coffee, or you come round to my house and my kids' birthdays and all of this. We're not friends. When you ask yourself what a friendship is, it's completely different to a business associate or a contact.
Yeah. I think you're right in terms of the networks that you're part of or people that you're connected to. I think you need to find a bit of a balance as well, whether it's a gender balance as well, as you said, or just have a balance of different people. But
I really like working with men, actually, and it's controversial to say as a woman in a women supporting women business and podcast, but I like having that mix up of working with men. It's really different, and actually I've learned a lot from working with men. I've learned a lot from my husband as well in terms of working and how to manage conversations and communicate efficiently. I think is the key word there, because I'm wasting I used to sit down and be like, I needed to do all of this today, and I've just been in conversations going round in circles, and that could have been eliminated, really.
Yeah. I think men are good at sticking to the point, and whereas with women we kind of go around and there's the the point, but then there's lots of other things around that to get to that point.
And I like it sometimes. Nice. I do like it, and I like that we're all supporting each other and it's familiar and we seem to care about each other, which is nice. I'll ask how your kids are and how your day's been and how that gym class was, but really I'm messaging you because I need something, or I might have an opportunity for you, or we could work together on this. But in order for me to feel like I can talk to you about that, I feel like I have to say all of this first
to get to the point.
To this,
True.
And do we really need to? Because do you need me to send you 5 messages first before you probably are more interested in this opportunity?
Absolutely true. Yeah,
because we're not best friends. We're not best friends.
No. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that from a hurtful. I'm not saying that from like a mean or ice queen place, because I'm not an ice queen at all. But I'm saying it from like a productive place, and actually me getting to the point quicker is supporting each other.
I think so. Yeah.
More.
It's probably better than going round
around the
houses and get to the point. Yeah. So, digital detox. Do you practice digital detox at all as a blogger, or is it impossible? And if yes, what impact does it have on your creativity?
I never.
No.
It's all my clients as well. It's online management, it's media, it's marketing, it's socials.
Yeah.
I'm constantly online.
So no detox?
No detox. Especially here in the region. I feel that technology has made people accessible 24/7. Literally, we want things immediately. We want things now. Yeah. I get messages from clients at like 10 in the evening, and I don't open them. I see them pop up on my WhatsApp. I don't have a business phone, but I am looking to get a new phone and do like one for work, one. But then I'll just end up looking at both all the time, which won't help, So I see it ping up, and I'm like, I'm not opening it till the morning. So I'm trying to set boundaries. Yeah. But obviously, if something's like super urgent, of course, I'm available because that's part of my service as well. Yeah. But there's no way to. Is it really possible to have a digital detox?
I think.
Really, like full 360.
I think it'd be very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And definitely. I watch the news online. It's my access to everything.
Yeah. I think that's the world we're in.
Yeah.
So, parenting hacks. What are some modern parenting hacks that made your life easier and enjoyable, if any?
If anyone wants to share them, have you got any for me? I'm waiting for it to get easier. You said it gets easier into the teen years. Yeah,
it does. Yeah.
I'm still very much in the trenches. But anything to make things easier. So, you know, like if you're a formula mum and you want to use a prep machine, that sort of thing. If you can take a anything compact that, you know, like those travel strollers that fit above the cabin, and they're just amazing. Like all these things that are just make life easy. Anything to make life easier, I'm there. And I feel that like the kids, as long as they're happy, that's my main priority. Like, I don't mind if they're running around in the garden getting dirty in sandbox. Like, they're having so much fun. And they have such a long, intense day at school, very intense, especially my 8-year-old. It's really hard hitting now. They're getting to that age where it's proper learning. It's not play anymore. It's not FS. It's not nursery. It's full education, and it's very intense here in the region. You know, there's several languages that they have to learn. There's all these ECAs and extracurriculum things, and everything is very competitive. It's like, what's your on school applications, what's their swim time, what's their you know, their end of year scores for their exams, and they're having exams and they're like 6 and 7 years old. It's very intense. So when they come home from school, there's not a lot of structure at all. I'm like, if you want to go and sit and watch your iPad or watch TV, or you want to go and play a game, do what you want to do. You want to go and run around in the garden, go and do it, because you've had a whole day of not being allowed to do what you want to do. And I do question all the time. Me and my husband speak about it all the time, like school and, you know, is education like outdated? Obviously, this is a massive conversation. You could go on for ages about it, but I do feel like life has changed so much, but the education system has remained the same. So essentially, like, they're learning how to, you know, write cursive. I'm like, you're never going to need to write cursive, are you? Unless you're going to be a calligraphy artist or something. You know, like, they are learning loads of digital skills as well at school. But, like, it's such an intense day. So when they come home, my biggest mum hack is just, like, let them be. Let them be. Let them be happy. Let them release from the day.
No, I agree. And I think you're right. That's a whole new topic on what they learn at school, because I have a lot to say about that as well, in terms of, I think financial literacy from my point of view is so important. Knowing, you know, about debt, knowing about credit cards, knowing about how to start saving. That's far more important than learning about many things I can think of. That's on the curriculum at the moment. So
you grew up in the UK as well. So we had no education on household bills, how to run a household, how to apply for a mortgage. What happens when you turn 18? You get a bank card, and then you get a letter from the bank saying, do you want a credit card? You're 18. Of course I want a credit card. I'll take a credit card.
Absolutely.
Give me that money. And no one teaches you that's not actually your money.
No.
So you're going to get into debt. Then you get your salary in. You pay that money off, but then you're dipping back into it because you've paid off. You've taken a chunk out of your salary. So it's a constant cycle. But nobody teaches you these things.
That is far more important to learn than, as I say, a lot of the curriculum.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Maybe another conversation.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Thanks for your time, Yasmin, and you've been an absolute pleasure to have on the show. But you've not done yet. I'm going to hit you with some quick fire questions.
Okay.
So number 1, favourite breakfast spot?
Oh, this is hard. I like Heel down in Jumeirah.
Yes, nice. 2, your favourite place to go with the kids?
Privilege days, any hotel with a pool, kids club.
Hidden gem?
Shimmers on the beach. I don't know, is that a hidden gem? It's quite popular now.
It was hidden, but
I feel like that's an OG as well, because we went like 6 years ago and I still love it.
It's nice. Top family activity?
Pool days. Oh, it's just so easy when it's cooler.
True. Favourite beach?
Kite Beach.
Kite Beach.
Yeah.
Best restaurant for date night?
Well, we recently went to Demon Duck on Blue Water, and it was amazing. Amazing. If you like Chinese food, this is definitely, put it on your list.
Great. And favourite staycation spot?
I don't do many staycations actually, but JA Resort is a good one because it's a family resort.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And thanks for your time today. I think we went through a lot of interesting topics and areas, and I think our viewers are going to find lots of the stuff that we spoke about really interesting. So thank you so much.
Thank you.